Hey guys, Papa Pete here. Today I'm going to do a response video to Brian's Man Cave, Brian's video where he picked the 5 top Activision games for the Atari 2600. The 5 games that he enjoys playing the most. Now, he made a point in his video of saying that there's all kinds of great Activision games for the Atari 2600, and you know me, I love to collect the Activision games. I'm trying to get all of them, and I agree 100%. So I thought I'd do a response video and pick 5 more great Activision titles for the Atari 2600 to go on top of Brian's. Anyway, stick around. I can't wait to show them to you.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up by the age of 50, you don't have to.
Let's start things off by reviewing the 5 titles that Brian picked as his favorite 5 Activision titles of the Atari 2600. If you haven't watched Brian's video yet, I highly recommend that you do. I'll leave a link to it down in the comment section below. But in the meantime, the games that Brian picked out were... First of all, he picked Pitfall. An absolute classic game, not at all surprised to see him pick that one. He also picked another favorite, all-time favorite on the Activision, Kaboom! Great paddle game, still famous to this day. A lot of people still love playing this game. One of my all-time favorites for sure, how can you forget River Raid? River Raid was a very neat canyon shooter game where you flew the plane up, blowing up bridges, aircraft, helicopters, ships, and also had to refuel and blow up fuel tanks for more points. It was a great game. The next one he picked out was Keystone Capers. Again, this is a game that I didn't play much as a kid. I've only played it a little bit as an adult. I have it for my collection, but I don't know a whole lot about this game. I've watched more gameplay than I've taken the time to play it myself. It looks like a lot of fun, and I'm really happy to have this one in my collection now. Now, the last game he picked is one that you hear on all kinds of lists, and it is Hero. And I don't have a copy of Hero yet. But anyway, those are Brian's 5 games. Now for mine. The first game I'm going to show you is Fishing Derby. Fishing Derby to me is an all-time classic on the Atari 2600 by Activision. It's the very first title made by David Crane, one of the founders of Activision back in 1979. And it always held a special place in my heart because it's a game that my sister gave me when I was a kid. I was about 12 years old, 13 years old when she gave it to me. And I've always really liked the game. It's 2 guys sitting on opposite piers, dropping their line in, trying to catch fish where the lower the line, the more they're valued. And there's a shark swimming around the top trying to take them on you. Overall, it's just a lot of fun to play, whether it be 1 player or 2 player. With 1 player, you try to get as many points as you can, up to a maximum of 99 within the time limit. And with 2 players, you're just simply battling the other person on the other dock. What a great game. Now, the next game I want to show you is one of my all-time favorites. It's Stampede. Now, Stampede was created by Bob Whitehead, one of the 4 original creators or founders of Activision, back in 1979, along with David Crane. And this game is almost like a horizontal shmup. Think about it. You got things coming at you horizontally, and you're going back and forth vertically, throwing something out at the things coming at you, or trying to herd them back into play and not let them go past you. So it's almost like a kind of horizontal shmup. Very different type of game. I really enjoyed it very much back in the day. There isn't anything really common or close to it, and I think it holds up really well today, all things considered. My third Activision must-play title for the Atari 2600 is Freeway. Now, Freeway is another David Crane game, one of the first few that he made, and Dave Crane came up with the idea. One day when he was at a convention in Chicago, he saw a person trying to get across a busy street, and he sort of came up with the concept. And the first game that he made was actually called Bloody Human Freeway, and it was a person trying to cross 10 lanes of traffic, and when they got hit, they were smushed into a bloody pulp on the road. So needless to say, it wasn't released for the mainstream U.S. market. A little bit of conversion, they changed it to a chicken crossing the road, and we have this game as we see it today. Now, a lot of people say it's a Frogger clone. I don't believe it's a Frogger clone. It was made independently here in America at the exact same time Frogger was being made over in Japan. Was there some mix-up? Were there some ideas gained one way or the other? Possibly, but they each claim to be very independent of each other. They don't claim that the other one copied off them, I don't believe, but they claim to be independent. I tend to want to believe that. It's not an incredibly complicated game, but it's just so much fun to throw in and play because it's great sounds, great graphics, and it's actually a pretty nostalgic game for me as well. I can remember when I was a kid, it was a really popular game for commercials. Activision put out commercials. I used to listen to them during the top 40 countdown on the radio, and they'd have radio commercials for Atari 2600 games, for Activision Games specifically, and they were great. And back in those days, we were really aware that this game was coming out because they really promoted it. Of course, everybody could relate to the concept of why did the chicken cross the road. So when it was being advertised, it really stuck in your mind. So people look forward to playing this game, and as simple as it was, we had a lot of fun with it, whether it was one player or two player. So dropping it in, trying to get across that highway as many times as you can in 2 minutes and 16 seconds or whatever it is, it's just still a lot of fun today. The fourth game that I'm going to show you is, hey, ice hockey. Of course it is. I'm from Canada. It's ice hockey. Truthfully though, ice hockey is a fabulous one-player or two-player game. It was created by Alan Miller, one of the 4 founders of Activision back in 1979, and it really is a great sports title, if not the best sports title possibly on the Atari 2600. It was very, very popular back when I was at that age, about 13, 14 years old. Of course, everybody wanted a hockey game. The closest thing we really had to hockey was like a pong hockey, and which really didn't hold up. But this is the first game that introduced the concept of ice. It introduced the concept of even a player holding a stick, let alone tripping and checking and goaltending and all the real concepts of hockey. This was the first game that came out that made people feel like they were actually playing hockey. So right to this day and age, it's still a lot of fun to pick up and play, whether it's one player or two player. So it definitely is one of the top 5 games that I say you have to play from Activision for the Atari 2600. Now my final pick for top 5 games, I've got all kinds of different genres here. I got a sports title, I've got sort of like the Frogger crossing the road, freeway chicken crossing the road title. I already said this is kind of like a horizontal shmup, and this is just a vertical fishing game, head-to-head, two-player. You got two-player games you can play with one player, and the last one is going to be like a Space Invaders clone, and it's Mega Mania. Hopefully you've played Mega Mania by now, but you're not going to find many more high-action, fun, high-variety Space Invader style bottom shooters in your Mega Mania. Now Mega Mania was created by Steve Cartwright, not one of the 4 originals, but came on board with Activision very early after they were brought into existence in '79. And this game came out. It again had great commercials back in the day with the falling dice and the hamburgers and the falling irons, and they really knew how to promote and push this game, and people just ate it right up because everybody loves Space Invaders, and this made Space Invaders look like it was your grandmother in a rocking chair on the front porch, because this game really rocked. It was a totally juiced up version of Space Invaders, and even today you can throw it in and it's just so much fun to play. So that is definitely one of my top 5 Activision titles that you still should be playing today. Okay guys, here they are, all 5 of my top Activision titles for the Atari 2600 that you still should be picking up and playing today. There's 5 different genres sitting right here, whether it's the bottom shooter, the horizontal shmup, the fishing derby. What kind of game is that? I mean, it's just something totally different. A Frogger style, cross the road with the chicken, and of course a sports title. So there was a lot of variety even back in those early days for Activision on the Atari 2600. If you're interested on more information on any of these titles, I'll leave a link down in the comments below to reviews that I did on all 5 of these titles. So once again guys, I want to send a special thank you for the guy who made this video possible, a response to Brian Puddin of Brian's Man Cave. If you haven't checked out Brian and his channel, he talks about some great old games. I love anybody who covers the old Atari 2600 games, because I mean, that's my era. He's young for covering these games, but man, he does a great job, and he talks about some really interesting stuff from a great perspective of somebody who's finding a lot of them for the very first time. Anyway, Thanks a lot for spending a little bit of time with me today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, guys. Take care.
Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. Papa Pete, the old ass gamer. If you haven't grown up.
Hey guys, this is Brian from Brian's Man Cave, and you're watching Papa Pete, the old ass gamer.
What the hell?